What's up, guys? This is Dr. Vic. You're listening to another episode here on the Wellness Path Podcast. Excited to have you here as we're going to dive deep into the element of what is a good oil to cook with. There's a lot of new buzz going on in the health world about a specific one and how healthy it is and how it's healthier. I'm here to help you kind of realize how it's not healthy unless there's something that you do. And I'll be sharing that with you in today's podcast. Now, before you go ahead, check out our information below. Check out our free guide on how to dive deeper into just basics of elevating your health. I share in there just some basic tips that you can do from a physical element of the body, from a chemical aspect, which is going to be foods, and also basic supplements that I recommend. And then also mindfulness, the mind, the mental, emotional components of what you can do to help yourself just to thrive a little bit more, to enjoy your wellness path and more. So you can check that out. It's in the show notes. We just started this. You can get the link there below and go ahead and download and start putting that to work. Okay. So today's episode is all about tallow, right? I'm hearing more about it. People are getting excited. There's more companies jumping on board, starting to cook with tallow. Fast food chains like Buffalo Wild Wings already has been doing that. And so much more. And I thought, this is a great time to share about this and really help you guys to understand tallow and whatnot. People are starting to become more aware of seed oils and the rancid effects it does to our bodies, the chronic inflammation that it does, how it creates a more of an imbalance of an omega-6-3 ratio, which we'll have a whole entire podcast episode on when we dive into the importance of it and why that's a lab test you should do. And what does that mean for your health and overall? So we're starting to understand seed oils and we're starting to move away from them. And everyone's like, tallow's great. Yes, lard, absolutely amazing. Lard's a little different. It's like it's beef lard, or tallow is what they call it, or beef suet. I think that's the other name for it. And I might have this wrong. It might be suet and then it renders down to tallow. Again, I don't know all the layering effects of how this is made, but it's one of those things where there's a guideline that you want to understand when it comes to tallow. Because a lot of people health advocates are coming out, they're talking more about tallow, they're saying how great it is, how it's more beneficial for you. And the truth is, there is one tallow based on this type of way it has to be, that is excruciatingly beneficial for your health. It's anti-inflammatory, it increases longevity in some ways, it's useful to the skin, it helps the body, your body absorbs it better, the body will thrive in that because the body loves saturated fats, the brain loves saturated fats. It's very heart healthy, good for the liver, it's good for every facet of your body. But the tallow that they're talking about is not. Okay, not all tallow is the same. This is where the whole marketing world took over in nutrition because they'd be like, hey, this is vitamin B. They don't tell you the form. Let's say it's a B12, right? They don't tell you the form of B12. They just tell you it's vitamin B12. And so the research shows vitamin B12 is absolutely amazing. It's healthy for you. It's good. It's this and that. And they market. But they don't tell you the form. Now, why am I bringing this up as an example? Because there's a form of vitamin B12 that is not good for us. It's unnatural. And it's called cytocobalamin. Okay, you can Google this online and you look that up. You want a methyl or a dino, those are the ones that are going to be more bioavailable. Your body will utilize it properly and so forth, right? So why do I bring that up? Because those are the ones you're going to get benefits from vitamin B, especially if you have MTHFR gene mutation, then the methylation, you're going to need more methyl vitamins. And if it's not methyl, which if it's cytocobalamin, is not going to do good for you. So you want to have the methyl. So I'm bringing that up because tallow is the same way. And that's what's happening now. All these people are saying, yeah, look at us. We're doing tallow. We're being healthier. You're going to see how they say, well, we cook in tallow. It's healthier. You have to understand that, number one, the tallow that they're using is not, well, let's take it this way. Let me get to the number one thing that's going to benefit your health when it comes to tallow. The ruling has this. It has to be 100% grass-fed or grass-fed, green finished. Those titles are both the same. It also has to be organic. Okay. And if you want to add another mix to it, pasture raised. So I'm going to say that one more time. The tallow that you consume that is going to be anti-inflammatory and be very vibrant for your health, it has to be, number one, 100% organic. Number two, grass-fed, green finished, or 100% grass-fed. They're both the same titles. They mean the exact same thing. It's just how they like to market. Because if you have grass fed, what they can do is up to I think it's 3 months, it might be 6. They can go ahead and feed grains at the end. That's why it's so critical to say green finished, because it means that they ate grass towards the end too, or 100% grass fed. And then the third one is pasture raised, which means they weren't just sitting somewhere their whole life eating grass. They were actually out moving. It's better quality for their life, which creates better fat. Less toxins, better fat. Okay, better fat, better tallow, better health benefits for you. That's the criteria. So if it's not organic, then you're getting a ton of GMO, genetically modified organism, increase of toxins with sprayed pesticides and who knows what on the grass if they do that. And now that's being consumed, and those toxins are being consumed. They go into the fat. You're consuming the fat. You're taking in the toxins. Simple as that. Grass fed, if it's not grass fed and it's just organic, then it's great. You don't get the pesticides, but what you are getting is grain-fed cows. And that's an imbalance of omega-6-3 ratios, which means it's pro-inflammatory for your body. So you're creating more of an imbalance of natural fats within your body of the ratio you need to have. Now, if it's not organic, not grass-fed, not pasture-raised, that ain't looking good. Okay. Now, here, that's the kicker. So that's the rulings of the layering of what you want. Here's the issue, though, with these places that are using tallow. Now, if you ever had tallow before, you understand that there is a little bit of a taste to it. There's a certain acquired taste to tallow. When I cook tallow, my wife will know I cook tallow. She'd be like, you cooked with tallow, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah, I thought I could sneak that in. She's like, no, it has a taste. I don't like it. I'm like, okay, cool. The reason why I bring that up is because what these companies do, not only do they get those usually that quality we just talked about, but they also do something called, they use something called BHT. So what BHT is it's butyrated hydroxytoluene. Okay. And what they'll say online is that it's like an antioxidant. So it doesn't let the fat get rancid, and it lets it to increase its shelf life and so much more. And sometimes they'll put deodorizers in there. The most healthy version of those is like you can do it with hot water. You put the tallow in, you put baking soda and salt, and you can deodorize that smell and that taste in there. But sometimes they'll use chemical deodorizers to do the exact same thing. But the concern about with the BHT is that you can go ahead and they can repurpose this oil over and over and over and over and over again, and allow it to have a longer shelf life or usage and not let it go rancid. And so you're treating it with something to not just be its natural form. So that's the other concern you're going to find when it comes to using tallow and those kind of things is it's going to be a treated form with that. And you can Google this. There's videos that people have done this already, especially with Buffalo Wild Wings, where a guy was going in. He said, I heard you guys cook your wings in tallow. And he's like, yeah, we do. Do you know who the company is? And they're like, let me go see. Can you let me know? They did. They brought it out. They took a picture of it. He took a picture. They went back. He went to research it. He saw it was treated with BHT and all these different other things in there. And he's like, this isn't tallow. Like, it is tallow, but it's not natural 100% just pure tallow. And there's things added. Because the thing about it, if you're in a business and you can take an oil which is extremely high in saturated fat, something like tallow, and you can repurpose that thing and use it for, let's say, a whole month. I'm not saying I have not researched this part, but let's just say you can, then it's good for business. Right? Because now we can reuse this oil over and over and over again. And we're not like having to recycle a little faster with seed oils and things like that. So this is where, you get into this thing about tallow. That gets quite interesting. So that's how it's going to be utilized when you are going these more commercialized. It's going to be treated with BHT and other things like that to give it longevity in that aspect. I think making it's easy to make yourself, and that's what I want to share with you. I'll actually have in the show notes a link for you to make like your own beef tallow. I've done it myself. I was making brisket, and so you cut the brisket, you render the fat, you cut the fat up a little bit, to thin it out a little, and then what I did is I would put it I did it in an Instant Pot, and I rendered it down very slowly. I found the Instant Pot recipe, and then from there I took it and I put it in water so I wouldn't burn it, and I did the baking soda and salt, and what it did is it made it nice and white. And it took the odor out of it and the flavor. So it helped it in that process. So that was one of the key reasons why I kind of did that. And it's great. Having your own tallow, amazing. Highly recommend it. Check it out in the show notes. I'll give you the whole thing to do. And I'll also give you a source if you don't want to do all that. What are 2 or 3 companies that you can buy from that fit that criteria of what I shared with you so that you can start using tallow? Tallow is absolutely extremely healthy for you, extremely healthy for your life, and so much more. Let's talk about that really quick. So, what are 10 things that are beneficial for you to consume tallow? We've already talked about the first one. That's omega-3 profile. Especially grass fed, it's going to be way better in the omega-3s. It's more anti-inflammatory. So it's going to be more beneficial for your heart health, brain health, and so much more. Okay, that's just the first. It fits very well with keto, low carb, carnivore like diets. Very, very great for that. It has something called CLA, conjugated leonic acid. So conjugated leonic acid, or CLA, is really good in design. This is why grass-fed beef is so highly recommended, grass-fed green finish, because it has higher concentrations of CLA. You actually lose fat eating it because CLA is designed for that. It's help with metabolic profiles and really more burning and helping getting leaner for the body. It's really, really good for the heart. So it has a lot of beneficial factors. CLA is phenomenal. And that's why what I love to have, one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of that. If you like to do deep frying and stuff like that, or just frying in general on a saute, tallow is very high smoke point. So you can use this 400 plus. So you can definitely use this to do a ton of cooking and whatnot. Can't tell you. It does have a rich flavor. It is a certain flavor, though. Some people love it, some don't. And it just varies on different things. So if you like that kind of a flavor, it's really good. And as always, with good fat, you're going to get good packed fat soluble vitamins. A, D, E, and K are some of the basics that you'll find in there. So, and some others. So it's really, really good. So you're getting good nutrients in there. Also shelf stable, cost effective, lasts a very long time. Usually some fats last longer than others, but it really works for that. Phenomenal for skin and health, hair. It's a fat, right? So like a lot of my parents I work with over the years for like skin health and so forth, I was like, just get good organic coconut oil and put it on your skin. It's good for moisturizing. And I had one patient I worked with, and she would always just be like, she'd take her face off the face paper and I could see the oil imprint. She's like, oh, it's my coconut oil every morning. She goes, my skin looks so much better because I've been putting just a little bit of coconut oil every day, just a little, and it just works wonders. And I love it. People are complimenting me. It looks more youthful. And I'm like, good, it's good fat. Tallow does that too. The other thing about tallow you can do too is it's more of a movement of this now is like making your own like deodorant with it. Again, you're putting baking soda so it deodorizes it. It's a good fat so it can hold things and you can put it on your armpit and so forth. Maybe in the near future I may convert to that because we do get a cow about once a year, and I love the brisket we get. It's unreal. So huge. But there's a ton of fat on there. And so I can take a lot of that fat and render it down. I get a lot of tallow. And then from there, I can use that to cook. And then if I want to make my own deodorants, skincare, skin products, you name it. There's a lot of benefits of what you can use for tallow. And you're going to be seeing more companies come out with a ton of these things. But that's just the beginning. So I wanted to share some of the other benefits to kind of inspire you to try it out though. It's just be careful. Again, I'll have some resources where you can buy it. But you want to be really careful about commercial tallow because, again, they use BHT and other things in there. It's not going to be from really good, healthy cows. So when you consume fat, Yeah, remember, toxins store in fat. So if it's an unhealthy cow or wasn't fed the proper diet like grass, that's what they're designed to eat and grazing all around and moving around, getting, having movement to go. If they're not happy cows, the fat is going to be more toxin. And the toxicities, not only not having grass, let's say it's conventional organic grains, there's a higher incident of omega-6s versus 3s. There's less CLA. There's a lot of less health benefits, not a lot less brain benefits. Like I said, tallow is very high in saturated fat, phenomenal for brain health. But the thing is you're going to have more inflammatory effects happening to you instead of the positive anti-inflammatory effects that you get from organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, green-finished, or 100% grass-fed. And so I'm going to give you some of those sources so that you have access to that and have fun with it. There's so many different things out there. I used to run programs with keto type programs back in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I used to have a group of patients where we would go through, I want you to eat 70% fat. And they're like, how the heck do you eat so much fat? And we only have a couple sources. What do you eat? I'm like, I love duck fat. It's my favorite. I go, pork lard is great. Less of a scent flavor. You just got to make sure the lard is pork lard. I may have to do a whole podcast on that, but it's one of those things where I don't mind pork lard. I do have concerns about pork lard and pig in general. That's why I like more tallow. Duck fat is phenomenal. Those are the ones I enjoy the most. So those are the ones I use a lot. But I also use coconut oil. I use avocado oils. I even use even use olive oil. It's my assortment of things that I use for different oils. But anyway, getting off topic here with everything. But those are the things that can really help you with. And tallow is phenomenal for a lot of this stuff. So I recommend have fun with this. Check it out. And I can't wait to hear more about what you think. Reach out to us. Send an email to me about tallow, what you tried, what you liked, what are the other fats that you may like, what are things that you also do that you think are that you like to you enjoy consuming and having and whatnot. Love to create this community and dialogue. We may be doing our own Facebook group on this if it gets popular enough and people are interested. We can share stuff as a community and really have more of a just connection with everybody and so much more. We're looking to create that because we really are looking to create community with what we're sharing here and so much more. So stay tuned. So I want to appreciate you for taking the time to tune in. Make sure you subscribe, like the podcast, and so forth. Check out the resources below in there. Check out the all that have the links in there. What the products I could recommend for you, a couple of them at least. There's probably way more than that, but I just want to give you at least a couple, and some you can get off Amazon and whatnot to make it easier for you. But anything else on that, have fun with it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.